Holy Father, may we remember. Help us to encapsulate and to build piles of stones for each other, to just hold on to what you've done, to never forget, to cherish. Lord, you have been good to us. You brought us together for this season, and it's been unforgettable. Lord, I just pray that you'd anoint us as the body to remember. Amen.
As I look back on the summer, something that I will never forget is the way that the men have treated us. Whether that's been getting the door for us or allowing us to walk through the door first, or taking care of our dishes or refilling our water. You guys have treated us girls with such respect, honor, and value, and you've been treating us far better than yourselves. The moment that really stands out to me, and I think that signifies men being men and women being women at Ellerslie, was when June 16th, we had all the girls came and sat in the middle of the chapel, and all the guys surrounded all of us females, and Ben McElmurray prayed for us, and that just blew me away. So I just want to say thank you.
I'm going to miss everyone here, but especially the guys. You know, when I talked about a friend that sticks close to her brother, I think one of our first weeks here, one of my greatest moments was taco night. That was the best night. I mean, it's like 9 o'clock, and all you hear is, "Oh, I'm so hungry, I'm starving," you know, like, want some food. It's like, we can't leave campus because it's 9 o'clock, this stinks. You know, and all of a sudden Ben's like, I can go get some tacos, you know. Everyone want to chip in, and so apparently, you know, he leaves to go get tacos for everyone, and it's taken forever. We don't know what this guy's problem is. You know, he's going to get tacos, and he comes back, and he has the most odd combination, you know, mug root beer, oatmeal pies, and like tacos, and you know, it's the most weird combination of food. And we're all like, yeah. You know, and so he comes in with the tacos and sits down. We kind of pray about it, and we go, "So Ben, what took you so long?" "I got pulled over." You know, he's like, "What'd you get pulled over for?" "Well, I had my brights on," and you know, and over this really stupid reason. And then also he got held up because he got in the line, and the Taco Bell lady told him that he needs to call in ahead of time when he orders so many tacos. you know, apparently when you go to a fast food place, you're supposed to call in ahead of time. You know.
June 18th, the first victory with Katie Kisko. That was something else. Gaining the Lion's Roar, where the guys literally stood up, and there's some fire in that prayer. Brotherly love, Leroy baptizing James on June 16th. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Hearing distinctive laughs every day. I'm sure Alyssa and Ben in the back, and Camille and everybody else. I couldn't think of everybody, but there are some people who just have these laughs that you can just hear over all the others, and it's the coolest thing. Don't be ashamed of that. That's awesome. Kneeling before God during the reading of Christ's names, that was incredible. As Eric dubbed it, the Fellowship of the Burning Heart weekly guy sessions. Ladies, you're missing out. Seeing the Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe, and actually feeling closer to God for it. Especially when Ben and Josh in the back cheered when Aslan comes back from the dead. It was awesome. Sermons from the legends of yesteryear. David Wilkerson, Richard Bornbrand, A.W. Tozer. And then just the amazing overall continual spiritual growth. You guys bless me every day, and those are my memories.
So one thing I remember is banquet night. I was convinced that it would never end. I was so glad to hear all of your testimonies, but it really did feel like banquet night would never end. One thing I'll always remember is being sprayed by the sprinklers in the park. I'll always remember dinner on the lawn every Friday night. I remember in the morning girls drenching themselves trying to water the flowers. I'll always remember desperately trying to enjoy each other's company while being eaten alive by mosquitoes every evening. I'll remember the sprinklers here and how they never seemed to end. They were always on some type of cycle or another. Purple shirt night, and how John sat in the corner by himself, refusing to participate. And there were so many memories that I'll have of just great quality time with you guys. Ellerslie Post meetings, the meetings that we had to plan the shower for the orphans, the actual shower. Remember Sarah and Brooke's dance, and Amy and Leah singing while Tessa signed. It just brought tears to my eyes watching it, and Krista's testimony that she gave us that night. Musicians Fellowship, just the beauty of worshiping our King all together in one room. It was indescribable and a taste of heaven. And then there were all those times when the Spirit moved us all together. The intercessory prayer every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is where I truly learned to pray. The revival week, the beauty of watching 35, 36 people profess their death and the life of Christ in them. When we prayed for Tessa, I knew that God had given us His Spirit to pray. We were so tired, and the girls showed so much determination and passion for what we were praying for, to see God's glory. I remember leaving the room where the girls were praying and walking over to where Tessa was with everyone else, with Bree, and the spiritual battle that we felt, and the peace of God that came upon us as soon as we stepped into the room. I'll always remember how everyone here is so willing to drop everything and pray for their brother or sister in Christ. How we always will see people praying on the grounds with each other. The 24-hour prayer week, where God gave us supernatural strength to wake up in the middle of the night and pray for an hour, sometimes more. Watching everyone grow in love and affection for each other, and the transformation that has come over all of us as its Spirit has moved upon us.
So, first of all, I just want to say I've been incredibly blessed by the Ellerslie air conditioners. They just keep you cool at night and during the day. They're just so awesome. Quick manicures and stuff. Like, it just happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, all you need is a screwdriver, and you can find out for yourself by sticking your hand in the back of one of those. Musicians Fellowship. I've been so blessed by that every Monday night. I'm sad it's ending, but to see women and men want to worship God is incredible.
I'll never forget the night where we went into the classroom and it was pitch black, and the classroom no longer was the area where you went to get internet or to check your mail, but it was where weeping and intercessory prayer was taking place for the persecuted church. And I'll never forget just the images that came to mind of those that were suffering that we were praying for, and just the feeling of this is what the church is actually supposed to be. I'll never forget the feeling of knowing that you're being prayed for even if you don't ask for it. I'll never forget the deep, sweet conviction that I felt here like I never have before. I'll never forget the sunsets that we have every night. I'll never forget Hannah's snorts every time she laughs. I'll never forget James's sneeze, because you could hear it like from my room when he was like all the way across campus. I'll never forget everybody's tears. I think one of the most meaningful things to me here was just seeing everyone cry, as weird as that sounds. I'll never forget seeing Chelsea Gooch with a shotgun. I'll never forget the spiritual warfare that I felt here. And I think this is something that we've all kind of felt here, but we were just reading the Psalms and kind of just being so just in awe of our God to the point of where we couldn't even speak. I'll never forget Mike's prayer that one morning. I'll never forget how a slow wandering walk around Lily Lake turned into a woman crying with us all laying hands on her as James prayed for her unsaved children. And to end it all off, I think none of us will ever forget Nathan.
In the first month that we were here in June, Eric and Leslie had invited us all over to their house. And while we were there, we had split up into several teams of about 6 people each to play volleyball. Well, our team had been doing pretty well. We had James Jonas, and we won our first 2 games. We came to the second game, and we were winning. We were doing pretty good. But we started, doing pretty badly, so we both started getting a little more intense, getting more involved. There came a time where there was a ball that was coming across the court. Nobody was there, so I dove for it. And apparently, when I dove for it, my wedding ring went flying off my hand. Well, I didn't realize it until the entire game was over, at which point we started a search party for it, and we weren't having any luck at all. At which time Eric said, well, why don't you pray for it? Well, I was already embarrassed enough about the fact that I had lost my wedding ring, that we had lost the game, that I wanted nothing to do with praying for this wedding ring. But Ben Zorns was there, so he knelt down, gave him a quick prayer for it, and it ended up that almost immediately after that, Courtney Priest found it on the other side of the volleyball court, just sitting there. And that to me speaks volumes about what God has done in each of our lives here. And there's a story that we learned about this semester in 2 Kings 6, where Elisha and some of the sons of the prophets are with him, and they go to build a house, and one of them loses an axe head. And this is right in between stories of the Syrian army getting struck blind and famine and prophecies. And there's this little story about this lost axe head. And it's like, why does God put that in there? And it's because even the most small, insignificant things matter to God. But that story spoke volumes to me that if God cares about a lost axe head, if God cares about my lost wedding ring, how much more does he care about each one of our souls?
The overwhelming presence of the Spirit when that slide that said, just imagine if God gave me 12 young men. I'm sure for the guys, but for everybody here, how that was just a reassurance that we had been hand-selected for this place and this time by God.
I, therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all.